All right, guys, I'm gonna do some cold water catfishing today and tomorrow. And, some people ask, where do you fish for, the blues in the winter? And honestly, they're all over the lake. Okay, so you can catch them deep, you can catch them shallow. Today I'm gonna go deep. Okay, tomorrow I'll probably fish shallow, just to show you guys that you can catch them in both places. But I'm gonna show you my little setup that I have, okay, that I like. Okay, and what I use, I have this Bass Pro catfish rod that they just came out with. It's it's an 8-foot rod. It says King Cat. So this is a King Cat rod, and I lie, they're not very expensive, $20, but it's fiberglass rod, which I like fiberglass for catfish. That's the rod that I have. And then, I know in these days, America first, buy America, but it seems like everything's made in China these days. And this reel right here I found on Amazon, okay, and it's a Warrior, is what it is. And let me kind of show you this because it's pretty hard to pronounce. Says a Sugiyang on it, okay, so this is a Sugiyang Real Warrior, and it's kind of a offshoot of an Abu, which even the Abus are made in China, so I just don't feel that guilty. But it works really well. It's got a good drag system on it, and I like the clicker on it. So I'm going to be drifting today, so I'm not going to be using the clickers. Okay, but the clickers, right here. Okay, so like right now, the spool's coming out. It's not doing anything. If I'm fishing shallow water, I like to use clickers. So I'll go ahead and throw my poles out, and I open the bail, put this clicker on, okay, and then when I put the clicker on, I wait to hear that, that click, okay, and then and this is important, when you're catching these blues, I swear to God, they can feel it when you take it out of the rod holder. So just go ahead and keep your pole in the rod holder, okay, when you have that line, okay, when that line, starts coming off, go ahead and click it, okay, engage it, okay, and then just kind of let the fish kind of load up. Okay, and then as the fish loads up, just kind of reel down on it, and you're gonna pull the rod out of the rod holder when the fish is already on. I don't like to pull the rod out of the rod holder. I've had a lot of, when I started using these circle hooks, okay, it's a different kind of experience for me, but you just need to keep that pole in the rod holder. You just gotta trust me on that. Okay, so what to use? You use mono or do you use braid? Okay, it kind of depends, I'm kind of a mono fan myself. I know braid's strong and can't break off. I like to be able to break off sometimes, especially when I'm drifting for catfish. When I'm drifting for catfish in 30 foot of water, if I get a big snag and I have braid on, if I can't get the snag out, I'm not gonna break that braid. I'm gonna have to cut it, and braid's expensive. So if I'm gonna have to cut off, 30 feet of line, I'd rather, cut off 30 feet of, 20-pound mono. So I'm kind of a 20-pound mono guy for the regular line that goes on the leader. Special situations where I like to use braid, maybe crappie fishing in the winter, just because there's no play and it's easy to feel those, those real small bites. So I think I like it then. Honestly, that's about it. It's expensive line, and it's no stretch, okay, which is a good thing sometimes, but I like having a little stretch, okay, when I'm fishing for catfish. These blues hit hard, okay, these blues hit hard, and the other thing that happens with braid sometimes, it wraps around the tip of your, the tip of your pole, that last eyelet, and when that happens, it'll break the eyelet, so braid just tangles up with everything, and it's got its place for sure, super strong, but I'm just a fan of mono. Okay, so I got the mono. Okay, so what's next? So the next, what I got is I just have a swivel here, and I'll talk about this little setup that I have. But I have a swivel here, and what I've done is I've just taken the swivel. I've tied the let's see what I've done here. Okay, I've tied the the lead. Okay, there's the lead right there. That's the 20-pound mono. Okay, and this right here will float freely. And then I have my leader line right here. This leader line that I'm using right now is 50 pound. I'll go 50, I'll go 80, okay, whatever I have. I have a really big roll of 50 right now, so I'm gonna be using that for a while. This right here is an improved clinch knot, okay, that I use there. Okay, this right here is a Palomar knot, okay, that goes from the swivel, okay, to the regular. And Palomar knots are really strong. This thing's with the big catfish, you do not want your knots to fail, and I've never had a Palomar knot fail on me. This improved clinch, never had an improved clinch knot, okay, fail on me. Okay, and then so here's my 50 pound. Okay, it goes up to a bobber, okay, torpedo style. I don't like round bobbers, but I'll use these little crappie bobbers. I'll use the cigar bobbers, okay, whatever. Okay, then we come down here to a number 8 circle hook, okay, and I have a Snell knot tied on that. So we have a Snell knot here. Okay, we have an improved clinch knot, okay, right here, and then we have a Palomar knot right here. Okay, and there's our 3 knots that we use for this setup. Okay, now what's going to go right here on this clip? It's going to go sinker. Now, here's what I like about this little setup that I do. Right now I'm drifting, so I'm not a fan of having, you know, slip weights when I'm drifting. I want the you know, weight to contact my line, okay, at all times. So I set it up like this. Okay, but if I'm going to fish shallow water, you know, I'll run this line right through that eye, okay, and I'll let that slip up and down. Okay, so the fish can't feel the weight. But when we're drifting, you know, the fish is going to feel the weight. The fish is going to feel the boat. Okay, the boat's going to load them up. When I'm still fishing, you know, I like that line to come through freely. I like that line to come through freely. I don't like the fish to feel the weight at all, so I set it up a little bit differently. But, you know, just by tying the knots a little bit different, I can do this, okay? And now I'm going to talk about how I set my sinkers up. Okay, and I think you guys will like this. So if you're a cat fisherman, one of the things that we know is that we go out and we catch our own bait, right? So, you know, this time of year, I like to use bluegill and I like to use shad. And those are the 2 things I like to use, and obviously I'll go out and I'll catch them with my cast net. So, and cast nets go bad over time. I have 2 cast nets. Actually found one, okay, that got caught up in some rocks, and someone just left it because it was no good for a cast net, but I just took it for the weights. Okay, and then I have another one of my personal ones that went bad. So I have all sorts of these things, right? These little weights that come off of cast nets, and of course you can just run your line through there. Use it slip well. These are probably about 3/4 of an ounce, I would say. Maybe an ounce, somewhere between 3/4 of an ounce and an ounce, okay, is what these weights are. Okay, which would be enough for a day that's not windy. Okay, I'm a fan of using 2 weights, so I like to use 2 of these. If it's real windy, I'll use 3 or even 4. Okay, so this setup that I use can, you know, you can just change the amount of weights. It's adjustable, it's cheap. Okay, we're recycling, so we're using weights from old cast nets, okay, which works really good. Okay, and we're gonna use a zip tie. Okay, so what I did with the zip tie is I just drilled a hole. Okay, I drilled a hole, okay, right there with a really, really small drill bit. I think it's like 5/64 or 3/64. Okay, it's tiny. It's tiny, but what I can do is I can get this swivel right here. I can get that swivel through that hole, and then all I do, this is really simple, guys. All I do is I just, you know, take these sinkers, okay, and I pop them on here, okay, and then I run. I just run this through. And clip it. Okay, guys, we're ready to go fishing. Okay, we are ready to go fishing. Okay, so you can see what I got here. You know, I've got my okay, I've got my swivel. Okay, again, that's a Palomar knot. Okay, on the other end, I tie my leader. Okay, and then I'm running my sinker. Okay, on the clip. Okay, it goes down, you know, about 4 or 5 inches up. Okay, I just have some type of sinker. I just have these for crappie fishing, so I'm using these today. And I come down here, okay, Snell knot, okay, on a number 8 hook. Okay, and we're ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to Lake Louisville today. I'm going to fish the Old Lake Dallas side. I'm kind of excited. Usually I take my bass boat out to do this, but some of you have been following me. I just built that Wrestlefish, kind of a kayak, skiff, okay, type thing. Well, I have it set up pretty sweet. And it's just going to be me today. And this boat that I made is really a one-man boat. Okay, but the wind's not very hard today. It's 7, 8 miles an hour. Okay, so the waves aren't going to beat me up. So I'm going to take the Wrestlefish out. Okay, one of the things about winter catfishing, okay, you're going to catch fish of all sizes, obviously. Lake Louisville has a 30-inch slot, so we'll be keeping fish today that are below 30 inches. But this time of year, you can catch some fish above 30 inches. Hopefully, we tag into some of those big ones today. But that's how I set up, for a Bluecat trip. I'll be fishing 2 poles today, okay, out of the Wrestlefish. If I was in my big boat, I'd probably be fishing 3 or 4 poles on a drift, okay. But I'll be using a trolling motor today to control my boat, to control the drift. One of the things I like about this small boat, I put 2 poles out the back, okay, and I can really control the speed and everything with these 2 trolling motors I have. I have a Newport, 52-pound thrust, which makes this boat just fly across the water. Honestly, it makes it fly too much, okay, for the fishing part. Okay, even on speed one, this little tiny boat is actually going too fast to drift effectively for these Bluecats. I want to be going, a half mile an hour, 3/4 mile an hour. Okay, that's all I want to do. I don't want to be doing, any faster than that. And on first gear, with this Newport 52-pound thrust, I have to, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. But I have this, I think it's called a Half-Swing trolling motor that I bought a couple years ago for my Pelican. And I just didn't like fishing out of that Pelican. It just wasn't very stable, which is why I built the Wrestlefish. So I have this little 20-pound or 24-pound, whatever it is, trolling motor that just goes perfect. So what I have is quite the little kayak. I got my big motor on there that I use for 2 reasons. One, I use it to navigate. So if I'm going from point A to point B, I can get it going pretty good speed, okay, with that 52-pound. And it also has a really nice little rudder on the bottom, okay, so I use it to steer. And then with my little 20-pound thrust, I have it off the side of the boat. Okay, what I do is I'll just put it on speed 1 or speed 2, whichever one's best. It'll put me around really nice and slow. And then I use my my trolling motor with my rudder, okay, to steer. 2 poles out the back, okay, and then I'm just waiting for the pole to go down. Okay, so how do I set the hook? This is really fun with this Wrestlefish. So the way I set the hook with the Wrestlefish, I set the hook with the trolling motor, okay, which is really cool. So we going. I'll just be steering with it, and then as soon as I get a bite, I'll turn that motor on. It'll speed the boat up. Okay, the boat will set the hook. Okay, and then I can go ahead and take the pole out of the rod holder and reel in. Okay, so circle hooks, especially when you're drifting, okay, is no brainer. Okay, the boat will set the hook for you. Okay, most of the time. Okay, you just need to reel in on the fish. Sometimes you're gonna get some channel cats to bite. Okay, the channel cats will be, nip. Okay, you might have to take the rod out of the rod holder and play with them. They're actually really hard to catch because they don't commit. Okay, with these Bluecats, it's pole in the water. Okay, they commit hard and they're just not hard to catch, especially in drifting. You keep the pole in the rod holder. Okay, let them hook up, on themselves with the circle hook. The circle hook's kind of cool because the way these things work, okay, and you'll see, okay, the point of the hook, okay, right here, that's dull. If you set the hook on these things, okay, you're just gonna rip the hook right out of the fish's mouth. So what happens is the fish swallows it, okay, and then it gets to this point right here. Once it gets to this point right here, as the line pulls, it rotates. And then as it rotates, you get the hook, okay, right there, and then that hook will set right in the corner of the mouth. The good thing about these hooks is they don't gut hook the fish. So, for the most part, we're gonna be hooking the fish, in the corner of the mouth, okay, which makes it easy to take out. Okay, but that's it, guys. Time to go fishing.